This is a map of the US with the state of Iowa located in the Midwestern area. This is the map of Iowa, and Des Moines is located slightly below the center of the state, as we can see. This is a map of Africa, and Uganda is found in the eastern region of the continent. This is a map of East Africa, clearly showing Uganda and its neighbors. This is a map of Uganda showing Kampala somewhere below the center. Like any other city, Des Moines has streets and buildings like you can see in this downtown area of the city. The streets are clean, the roads are in a good condition, and are quite spacious. The traffic also usually flows smoothly. It is a pretty beautiful city with a couple of open spaces with trees, and the large building on the left is the state capitol building. And here we see a few more structures in the city. When it comes to fast foods places, of course McDonald's is one of the most popular ones in the city. Other popular businesses include Hy-Vee stores, and Walmart is definitely big in the city. This is the Valley West Mall in the West Des Moines area. It is a huge one with many stores. And here we see the J.C. Penney store as well. The Des Moines Area Community College is a very popular and affordable academic institution in the area. Kampala likewise has many nice buildings and businesses like this Capital Shoppers Mall in the Ntinad area, this Acacia Mall at Kamocha, a couple of tall buildings. This is the Mapela House. Banks like this East Africa Development Bank building, the Workers' House, and many more. Here we see business as usual as this guy is distributing Coca-Cola products. And here we see beds being sold by the roadsides, and a lot more happens in the city. Residential areas in Des Moines are well planned with addresses, and homes are well spaced with nice roads, as we see in this area on the south side of the city. Most neighborhoods are pretty quiet, peaceful, and with quite nice settings. In Kampala, most homeowners build their own houses and the sizes of plots of land vary a lot. For example, here we see a brick fenced residence with a gate, but the immediate neighbor on the left lives in a small structure with some banana plants next to the structure. Then the house across the road has a water drainage channel to direct running water. And we also see another residence whose wall fence has bright colors. Wall fencing is a popular trend for many residences of recent. Wall fences offer privacy as well as security. In some neighborhoods, some people use vacant plots of land to graze animals, and here we also see kids playing soccer. That is sheep grazing. And we can see some goats zero grazing as well. Poor drainage systems are a challenge faced in many residential areas, as we can see here. Another problem is that of poor road conditions. That is a chicken doing some free range feeding in this neighborhood. It is easy to make friends with kids, and they will surely have some time for you, especially if you seem to be doing some kind of filming. Hostels seem to be the biggest provider of accommodation for students living near academic institutions. Slums also exist for the very poor and are mostly characterized by poor sanitation, small housing structures, and open drainage systems. There are a variety of other residential structures in the city center. For example, these are building units for low-rank police officers. housing units for low-rank police officers. In Des Moines, I can say that every household has piped running water. So you just have to turn on the tap and there is water running all year round, unless if there is some sort of disaster. People have cold and hot running water where they live. In Kampala, many households do not have constant running tap water. So many resort to water harvesting, where they trap rainwater from the roofs of their houses and channel it into tanks. Others have raised water tanks to act as water reservoirs, so that when there isn't running water from the city water providers, then they can use the water from these tanks. In Des Moines, I can say that everyone uses a toilet like this one. A person sits on it, does his or her business, and then flushes it when done. This is a urinal, of course used by the gents. In Kampala, pit latrines are a very common restroom facility. They are usually small structures and are detached from the main houses. Let us have a look at this one. This is what a pit latrine looks like inside. A slab on top of a pit with a hole somewhere close to the center of the slab. So when using it, someone has to squat over that hole and then does his or her business. What you see on the right is a lid used to cover the pit hole, and on the left is a small jerry can with water, which is used for washing hands after using the latrine. Like I said, latrines are usually small structures. This other one is a unique kind of pit latrine. It has a toilet seat on top of the slab, and this can be convenient for people who may have difficulty squatting, for example the elderly, pregnant ladies, and larger people. In the left corner, we see a gray pipe, and this is a vent that takes out the fumes from the latrine. The presence of this vent qualifies this facility to be called a ventilated improved pit latrine. These latrines usually have another room that is used as a bathroom, and this many times does not have a roof. When it comes to doing laundry in Des Moines, washing machines and dryers are the way to go. This is a public laundry place, and also many homes have their own washers and dryers that they use when doing laundry. Machines make doing laundry easier and quicker. In Kampala, however, washing clothes is usually done physically using hands, and then the clothes are hung on a wire to dry, like you can see. The availability of heat from the sun often determines how quickly the clothes dry. As you can see here, 3 basins are usually used, one for washing, one for rinsing, and the other one for putting in clothes ready to be hung on the wire. There is water in that yellow jerry can. In Des Moines, specific days are chosen for garbage collection in the different areas, on which households put out their trash cans by the roadside. So the garbage truck, which is usually manned by 1 or 2 people, comes and takes the trash. In Kampala, the garbage is mostly manually picked up by the people who collect it and thrown onto the garbage truck. This truck has 5 staff on it, as you can see, and most of whom ride at the back of the truck with the garbage. And here is another colleague of theirs who seems to be returning a trash can to wherever he got it from. When it comes to mail in Des Moines, every household has a mailbox for receiving mail. Many have their mailboxes by the roadside, and in which the mailman or lady places the mail. Larger mail can be placed at the front door of a home or picked up at the nearby post office. In Kampala, very few people have their own mailing addresses, and many of these have to go to the post office to receive their mail. Broadlands Medical Center is one of the major health facilities in Des Moines where many patients go. But let us look at a case of Methodist West Hospital, a part of the Unity Point Health Facilities located in West Des Moines, and one of the best hospitals in central Iowa. It has got a spacious parking lot, As you get into the reception area, you just go like, wow, because it looks like a hotel with a piano and a water fountain. All the furniture and decorations look so nice. Let us look at the third floor, which is the orthopedics department, and the nurse was very kind to show us the room, how a patient's room looks like.
My name's Whitney. I'm a nurse at Methodist West here on the orthopedic floor, and I'm going to show you around the patient's room here. So starting here, we have some buttons that are available for staff use and doctor use. Here we keep some information about what the patients eat and their intake and output. Here we have hand sanitizer available for staff or patient use after they use the restroom. Here we've got the thermometer and pulse ox machine available and blood pressure cuff all right next to each patient bed, so it's nice and handy for the staff. Patients can keep stuff in here, and then there's also some stuff stocked in here, like an MSF base and a Kleenex. Here we have every patient their cup and incentive spirometer on their bedside table, along with an information packet. We've got a sharps container for close to where the nurses would need it, and a thermostat that patients or their families can adjust as needed. Sink close for patients or staff use. Gloves back here for staff to use. And then here's the computer that the staff uses for all their charting while we're in here. Here's some more information for patients or families that is in every room. We've got a TV and a DVD player for patients. And here there's a safe that patients can use to lock up their valuables. And then they can just use the rest of the cupboard for their belongings. Here's a chair for patients or families. And then here's a whiteboard that we put our information here so that patients and families can see it, see who their nurse is, etc. Here's a couch for family, and it folds out into a bed as well if they need it. This curtain can be pulled if there's family in here and the patient wants privacy. Here's an IV pump. We have suction available and a telephone here in every room. Here's the patient's bed. Every bed here has the trackies that a patient can use to help them with mobility after their surgery. The beds, at the end we have this machine for their, they're called SCDs, foot pumps they put on. Here's the patient's call light. The red button they call the nurse and the tech with that. They can push water, toilet, or pain to let us know what they're calling for so we can try to help them quicker. A couple of light switches available for them for over their head. And then this is also their remote control for their TV. And then the bed also has controls where the patient can get to it to raise the head of the bed up and down. And then there's also a call light there in case they would drop that call light. And now we're heading into the patient's bathroom. There's a bathroom in every room. Got the toilet and the sink, and then a shower here. There's a shower chair they can use, also a commode if they need that over the toilet. And then there's a call light they can use while they're in the shower if they would need to call for help. This is a gate valve that we use for safe mobility with patients. And then this is where the dirty linen goes. Outside of the patient's room, there's an alcove for staff use. There's a computer that can be used for charting. There's a drawer here that would have the patient's chart on either side of me. And then there's some supplies in this cupboard here. Just the main supplies that we use on a regular basis are located here, and some linens at the bottom.
The general bathrooms look very nice and clean. And have facilities to use when changing or cleaning babies. Also important to note is that because of easily accessible health insurance, even the poor can afford to get treatment at such a health facility. Popular pharmacies include Walgreens, and having a doctor's order is necessary to get prescribed drugs at the pharmacies. Another popular one is CVS, and both pharmacies have some groceries and other supplies sold in there, and also have drive-thrus. Back in Kampala, Mulago Hospital is the national referral hospital for Uganda, and it receives patients from all over the country. The hospital is often overwhelmed by the large numbers of patients, most of whom are low-income earners, and patients are mostly attended to on a first-come, first-served basis. So if a patient comes late in the morning, he or she will most likely wait for a few hours before being attended to. Here we see patients and caregivers waiting in lines. This lady carrying her probably sick child seems to be the last in the line. There are benches on which the patients sit while waiting. And as you see, the line moves by people extending along the benches. This lady seems to have given up or thought of other options. Inside one of the general wards, we see beds so close to each other and with no privacy curtains between them for privacy, and their caregivers pretty much just have to stand by the sides of the patient's bed. Here we see a caregiver seated on a patient's bed. On the bed too are other supplies, including a basin, a flask, and a bag. With little hope, some resort to prayer, as we see in the background. Here we see this area of this ward with mostly empty beds. Patients have to bring their own beddings and other necessities like basins, buckets, and foodstuffs. This is a huge hospital, and patients sit freely wherever they find suitable along the compound. This patient seems to be ignored by passers-by as he lays on the floor in the corridor. He seems to have an IV site on his left arm and a bandage on his forehead. Here we see what seem to be caregivers or visitors of patients seated on the floor in the corridor. These others seem to be discussing the way forward. Here we see caregivers or relatives transferring a patient onto a wheelchair, and like I said, because of the overwhelming number of patients, there aren't enough staff to assist our patients with ambulation. The general toilets or restrooms are in a poor shape. Most of them don't flush. And so whoever uses them has to fetch water from the sink using those small jerry cans and then use it to flush the toilet by pouring the water in it. This is a men's restroom and the urinals don't look that good either. There are very many small pharmacies which many times can easily sell prescribed drugs even without a doctor's order. And this is simply because they need to sell the drugs in order to make money and survive in business. In Des Moines, I can say that most homes own vehicles that they use to move around from place to place. The major public means of transport is by the dirt buses, which have set times and routes of operation. These buses also have specific places at which they stop along roads. The main international airport for the state of Iowa is the Des Moines International Airport. Driving in Des Moines is on the right side, just like in any other state in the US. Someone told me that countries where driving isn't on the right side drive on the wrong side. Meaning that if it's not on the right side, then it's on the wrong side. Here we see a Walmart truck. And Walmart is one of the biggest stores in the US. In Kampala, however, the commonest means of public transport are the taxis. These are vans and carry up to 14 passengers. These taxis have a blue line across them in order to differentiate them from other private vans that aren't taxis. The letter T, also labeled on them, differentiates them. A taxi has a driver and a conductor who collects money from passengers and also calls for passengers going to the direction in which the taxi is going. Passengers stand by the roadside, and when a taxi comes, they find out if it's going where they want to go. In this case, it looks like that taxi isn't going where this lady wants to go. Another taxi comes shortly after and seems to be going in her direction. So she boards and off they go. Inside the taxi, we see a conductor calling out for passengers through the window. We then see a passenger entering, and soon another one too. Most passengers are found at a taxi stage, and here we see a taxi stopping at a taxi stage. So the conductor gets out and calls for passengers to board. Passengers board the taxi, and it fills up. The taxi starts moving even before the conductor can shut the door. When fueling at petrol stations, the taxi conductors try to get as many small currency denominations as they can so that they have enough cash to give back to their passengers as balance or change. Now let us have a look at the famous boda bodas. These are motorbikes used as a means of public transportation. These boda bodas are found pretty much everywhere in Kampala, and the name boda boda came from the fact that these motorbikes were used to transport people and goods to and from the Uganda-Kenya border. And that's the name boda boda, meaning from border to border. Unfortunately, many boda boda riders are reckless when riding. See how this one carrying 2 passengers moves between these 2 vehicles. They ride too close to vehicles, which is very risky. So let us see how the boda boda operates. This lady comes to a boda boda stage and chooses to talk to one of the boda boda riders or operators and tells him where she wants to go. They negotiate the price, and then the boda boda operator tells her to get onto the bike. He has a helmet, but he seems not into wearing it this time. And off they go. His other colleague waits at the boda boda stage for passengers, and soon another one comes. I can see that the boda boda riders are the biggest violators of road traffic rules and regulations. They will ride in any direction that suits them or that enables them to get to their destinations quicker. These bikes are everywhere and often ride one to 2 passengers, as you can see. When it comes to traffic jams, boda bodas seem to be the best alternative means of transport for people who want to get to their destinations quicker. These boda bodas ride on pavements and between vehicles in order to get to their passengers' destinations in time. Most of the riders wear helmets, as the law requires, but the passengers hardly ever wear them, mostly because they wouldn't like to share helmets with other passengers. Railway transport also exists in Kampala, but mainly for transportation of goods. Just see how this rider maneuvers between these vehicles. And another one. This is a bigger boda boda stage with many boda bodas waiting for passengers or customers, as locally referred to. This is another smaller boda boda stage. There are also some bicycle boda bodas in Kampala, as we can see here. Many boda boda cyclists don't mind whether the traffic lights show red. They will just go as long as they have a clear way. These bikes riding to the left have just done exactly that and ridden through the red light as the vehicles wait for the green light. It is now green and the vehicles move. Other interesting means of transport include pickup trucks and lorries. Here we see people riding on the back of a lorry. And it can be very dangerous if this lorry was involved in an accident, since no one at the back has a safety belt, of course. Street kids do exist along the roads, and here we see some of them in the Wandegea area. They beg for money from motorists, and here we see some more as well. In general, I can say that Des Moines has very nice roads. This is a ramp joining the Interstate I-235 East. nice flyovers. The roads are spacious and with well demarcated lines. Even in the residential areas, the roads are pretty nice as we can see. Back in the downtown area, you can see that the roads are in a good shape as well. Back in Kampala, the roads in the city center are in a fairly good condition, as we can see. They are paved as well. However, people have to be careful and watch out for some uncovered manholes on some sidewalks like this one. It is because some people steal the drainage hole covers and sell them for cash. Here is another open hole. Away from the city center, most of the roads are narrower. The roads in most residential areas are usually narrow and smaller in size. All roads in Des Moines adequately have signs for the road users to refer to. Here we see a stop sign and a speed limit of 30 miles, with a thick yellow line marking on the road indicating where a vehicle should stop in this particular area. These are road signs indicating that one shouldn't drive toward that direction. That is to say, do not enter. The one-way signs are there too. The highway also has good signs that show directions. This is Highway I-80 West, and we see the 235 West exit sign. Then another 235 West sign towards Des Moines. Shortly, we see the same sign again. And then another one. So the road signs, as you can see, clearly guide any driver on the way around or where to turn or go. The traffic lights do a great job with directing traffic too. In Kampala, there are few road signs and drivers pretty much just have to know where they are going. For example, this is a one-way road called Buganda Road, but there isn't any sign to show that one can't drive or shouldn't drive in that other direction. So any totally new driver to Kampala may need a guide, or else that person may have a lot of difficulty driving around the city. Des Moines does get traffic jams, but mostly only during rush hours to and from work. But even then, they aren't that bad compared to other larger cities in the US. There are also beggars in Des Moines who beg for money from motorists at certain road junctions, as you can see. Traffic jams in Kampala can be so bad. One of the causes is that many of the major roads have remained the same size over the years, despite the fact that the population has tremendously increased and many new vehicles are brought onto the roads every day. These traffic jams can happen at any time of the day, but they are crazier during the early morning and early evening hours as people commute to and from work or school. Interestingly, there is often also a lot of traffic jam after it has rained during the day. Some people utilize these traffic jams to sell some goods to motorists. Here we see this guy selling what look like face towels and newspaper vendors passing by. These kids are selling bananas. This guy is selling car floor rugs. And this lady is selling brooms. The police in Des Moines are usually in their vehicles when on the road and will pull over motorists who violate traffic laws. Traffic lights do a great job as far as managing traffic is concerned, as we see here on University Avenue in the West Des Moines area. In Kampala, there are usually traffic officers standing at major road junctions and at traffic lights in the city center. They wear a white uniform and are very easy to identify. However, their job on the road can seem to be very risky. For example, look at this traffic officer directing vehicles in the middle of the road. A vehicle could easily fail to brake and knock him over. I also guess the traffic takes care of itself when it is raining and the traffic officers have gone to get shelter somewhere. This is known as a gas station in Des Moines. This particular one is called Come and Go, and that other one is called Hy-Vee. This is a QT or Quick Trip gas station. And here we see the prices for the different kinds of gas. Putting gas in vehicles in Des Moines is by self-service, in that any driver can do it him or herself. Here we see these ladies putting gas in their cars. The availability of gas pumps that take payment by credit or debit cards makes it possible for people to get gas at any time of the day or night. So there's no need for pump attendants. So let us see how it's really done. This SUV pulls over at this gas station. This gentleman gets out, unscrews the gas tank cover, then selects the gas after swiping his card. He then removes the nozzle and puts gas into the gas tank. He removes the nozzle when done, puts the gas tank cover back, and then off he goes. This is called the fuel station in Kampala, and this particular one belongs to the Shell company. Fuel stations are also commonly referred to as petrol stations. This one belongs to the Gapco company, and these fuel stations vary in size and availability of other facilities like shops or vehicle service bays. Fuel stations have pump attendants who assist with putting fuel in vehicles. They usually have uniforms, and this particular one belongs to the Total company. There aren't any credit card operated fuel pumps in Kampala, and therefore one may not be able to get fuel once the pump attendants have gone home late in the evening. Most parking spaces along the streets in the downtown area in Des Moines require payment. There are machines like this one in which one puts money as the parking fee for a given period of time. In Kampala, there are street parking vendors in the city center to whom motorists make or show payments for parking. Here we see this parking attendant seated on the pavement by the roadside, monitoring the vehicles that park on this street. These attendants usually wear aprons for easy identification. Here, we see two other parking attendants taking shade under a tree. I wonder how these vendors do their job when it's raining heavily. Parking spots reserved for the handicapped can be found at all parking lots of institutions, businesses, large buildings, and many other structures and facilities in Des Moines. This is the DMAC Urban Campus parking lot, and this is how the reservation sign looks like. This one indicates that there is a $100 fine for improper use. These signposts are usually blue and white in color, and we can see them at this Walgreens pharmacy. We can also see them at this CVS pharmacy. There are usually many of them at hospitals, like we can see at this Methodist West Hospital parking lot. The signs are also indicated on the ground as we can see. These signs can also be found at parking lots of banking facilities, as we can see at this Wells Fargo Bank, and also at places of worship like here at Des Moines First Assembly Church. In Kampala, there are hardly any handicapped parking reservations at any institution, business, or any large building. Handicapped persons have to find their way around like any other people. Wells Fargo Bank is one of the popular banks in Des Moines and in the US at large. All Wells Fargo Bank branches in Des Moines have ample parking spaces for their customers, as you can see at this branch off University Avenue in the West Des Moines area near Valley West Mall. The staff at Wells Fargo Bank are usually very welcoming, professional, and quickly attend to customers. There are drive-through ATMs for customers who may opt not to enter inside the bank. Drive-through ATMs can be found at almost every banking facility in Des Moines. In Kampala, most banks do not have enough parking spaces for their customers. At the entrance, there are usually security personnel who check people entering the bank. As we see at this post bank, there is a male security personnel standing and his female colleague seated, sipping on what looks like a cup of tea. The lady with the white top standing at the entrance of this Stanbic Bank is a security personnel. Inside most of the banks, there are usually lines of customers waiting to be served. The lines are longer during the time when school is about to start, as many people make payments for school fees. These were the exchange rates for the local currency used, which is the Uganda shilling, against other currencies in August 2014. $1 was being bought at 2,614 Uganda shillings, whereas the British pound went for 4,365 Uganda shillings. These exchange rates keep fluctuating a lot. Although some people wash their vehicles at home, especially during the warmer weather, car wash machines remain popular in Des Moines and also seem to be the best option during the cold weather season. This is a car wash area on the Southeast 14th Street on the south side of Des Moines. This is how many car washing bays look like in Kampala, and this job is often dominated by the youth. There are very few car wash machines in Kampala, and of course many other people wash their vehicles at their homes. These youth you see standing there by the roadside are looking out for any potential customers who would like to have their vehicles washed. Des Moines gets 4 weather seasons, which are summer, fall, winter, and spring. But it seems like the winter and its associated cold and snow is the least favorite for many people. I must say that the Des Moines city authorities do a great job making sure that the roads are plowed as soon as possible, especially for the busier roads. Oftentimes, snow gets this blackish color when melting away. Des Moines many times gets a couple of inches of snow, something like this, and the whole neighborhood can look white. Here is an aerial view of this place in downtown on a snowy day. Residents very closely watch the weather forecasts for updates in order to be more prepared for any severe weather conditions. School delays and closures are among the many updates that people closely watch during severe winter conditions. The weather forecasts are almost always exactly what actually happens, and I must say that the meteorologists do a great job. KCCI is one of the most popular TV stations watched in Des Moines. Kampala is located near the equator and therefore enjoys the nice warm weather all year round. So whereas people in Des Moines may sometimes say that it is nice outside today, it is always nice in Kampala, which gets only 2 weather seasons, namely the wet and the dry season. The weather forecast in Kampala is less accurate because sometimes you can be told that it's going to be a sunny day, but instead get rain. Walmart is one of the largest stores in Des Moines and in the US. The store structures are huge, and I'm going to refer to it when talking about the return of goods policy. Like many other stores in Des Moines, if one bought something from Walmart and for some reason didn't like it or realized he or she didn't want it, that person can return that item to the store within a given time period and be refunded money or given in-store credit. This is done at the customer service section at Walmart. In Kampala, however, most shops and supermarkets have a policy that goods once sold are not returnable. This is often indicated on the receipt given after buying a good. So that means that buyers have to make sure that whatever they are buying really works well and that they will like it. I can say that Mid-American Energy is the main supplier of electricity in Des Moines, and they make sure that there is power all the time. A few incidences of, for example, severe weather conditions may cause power shortages, but that company will make sure that power is back in a matter of a few hours. So basically, people who live in Des Moines hardly ever face power shortages at all. In Kampala, however, one is bound to hear such noise and also see generators outside the doors of some businesses along the streets in the city center. This is because the amount of electricity produced hasn't been able to match the ever-increasing demand, and this has led to power rationing, commonly known as load shedding. So this means that power is sometimes cut off in certain areas at certain times, and these load shedding schedules are announced to the public. So businesses that really rely a lot on electricity may have to buy generators in order to continue operating smoothly. However, the government is trying to find solutions to this problem. This is a boda taking school kids either to or from school. Two of the kids have helmets and the other two do not have. The kid at the very front is actually seated on the fuel tank of the bike. Then look at this guy transporting chickens on this boda. I don't know how he loaded them on so that they do not fall off. To me, these seem to be over 50 chickens. Now this is drama indeed. Nobody has a helmet. Just look at the second last passenger, the little kid facing backwards. Then look at the kid at the very front. So interesting. There are 7 people all together on this bike. This guy decides to take a nap on his bike. So I guess the boda can be a multi-purpose item. Then here, the rider himself isn't seated where he should be seated, which should be the middle area. It also looks like the people on this bike together with their luggage could fill up a saloon car. This is how cattle is transported in Des Moines. The trucks are well covered, the trailers are spacious, and the animals do not face a hard time while in transit. Now this is how cattle is transported in Kampala. The animals are squeezed, and there are people on the top of the back of the truck.
Kama